Well, the teams went down immediately from Michigan during the race. They loaded their Mexican cars, took them to Michigan, then came back down, and so they left. They got down there around Thursday. That the planes had some issues. One of the plane engines blew up on the runway, and a lot of teams didn't make it down there. They had to sit there and wait, change planes. Dale Jr.'s plane was one of the planes that had a problem. One of the reporters, I got to find his name here in a minute. He tweeted, so basically it was a bad joke and ended up being very bad timing. They were at the airport terminal, right? And, everyone in NASCAR is in one terminal, and he was like, if something ever, he basically said if this terminal blew up, NASCAR would be over with. And then like an hour later, the plane engine blows on the runway. So like everybody's mad at him, of course, and talking about him and everything. But yeah, they've had some issues getting down there. They've had to change some scheduling because of that. 2 cars didn't pass customs. So it's been an issue. They're racing at altitude. I'm gonna show some video of that. The stadium and the actual track's actually pretty cool though. To be honest, I'm gonna give some credit to that. I'll show you a piece of that here in a second. Like I said, for you folks listening on the radio, you can tune in live on Rumble and just type in KDC Broadcasting Shock Joxx and find that. Let's find you some information on that. On the tracks, I think you guys will find it kind of interesting. They've got a little stadium, like a stadium that they drive through. But when I mean drive through, like through the stands, like through the middle of the stands, which is pretty cool. Here we go. Let's see. Let's check this out.
Feet above sea level, how that affects not only the driver but the engines. For more of the altitude here at Mexico City, 7,500 feet above sea level.
So that's not the finish line. That's like turn 10 where they've got this stadium. Then you go through there, and then you circle back around and go through the main finish
like they're walking in for the Olympics.
How that affects not only the driver but the engines. For more, let's end it up to
wrecks and action in this area.
Right. Yeah, thanks, Danielle. For a great understanding of it, I think we headed to the prime garage because it affects the car in multiple ways, right? Down around sea level, the air is very thick. It makes a ton of downforce and a lot of drag. It's hard to push the car through the air. When we go to 7,300 feet, the downforce is gone, the grip is gone, nothing's pushing the car down, and the drag is gone, which means it goes faster in a straight line, it slips through the air. But to really understand it, we'll go under the hood and take a look at what else is affected. Remember, this air feeds the engine, as you guys were just discussing. It cools the engine. It also cools the brakes, and it does not do a very good job of cooling the brakes. The thinner air is less efficient. It's easier to overheat the brakes. Guys, you guys on the desk know as drivers how important the brakes are. So now you have a car that goes through the air faster because of less drag, and the brakes work less because they're warmer lap after lap after lap. So when you look at all the effects of altitude, really, it's that less power, the aero effects I just pointed out, but then the cooling is also a concern, guys, for both the brakes and the engine.
All right, so
really good breakdown.
Real fast, Tom, and no brakes.
Yeah, that's what we teach.
That's a healthy combination.
Oh, hold. Here's Dale Jr. going through the course.
Look at this track map, 2.42 miles, 15 turns, a lot going on.
Yeah, long front straightaway. So what's going to happen is there'll be a lot of battles for position in this braking zone right here, charging into turn 1. You go through turn 1, 2, and 3, a lot of switchbacks. You need your car to change directions there, Steve, out onto this straightaway to head toward turn 4. Another braking zone, an opportunity to make passes.
That's right, an opportunity to pass, but you're going to have to get it worked out. While I think there are chances to push the limit between the next 4, 5, and 6 combination, it's the S's. We see this at a lot of different road courses, kind of the switchbacks, right? It goes from a right to a left to a right to a left, kind of peel your competitor off if he is able to get next to you. And don't sleep on this 9, 10, 11. It looks like there's a little turn at 10, but this braking zone to 11 is serious, and then it heads into the stadium.
Yeah, the stadium has got some really tight corners. Turn 12, maybe the tightest turn in the NASCAR season. You've got to get through this little series right here to be able to get out of turn 15 and accelerate down this 4,000-foot front straightaway to make more passes off into turn 1.
So basically what they're telling us is they're going to slip through turn 12 automatically to turn 15 and take out half of the stands. That's what's going to happen right there.
They're probably going to have some wrecks in this one.
No, yeah.
Hopefully the walls will keep them contained there. 39 3,900 feet, 3,977 feet is the second longest straightaway in
looks
NASCAR
like,
for our radio
about three-quarters
listeners.
of a mile, then, huh?
What would you say? What's the first one?
Probably Talladega, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess I was either that or
I'm guessing it has
Pocono,
to be Talladega.
Pocono
might be.
Yeah, the front stretch.
It'd be nice if it said to Pocono.
Yeah,
to
right.
Talladega. Nice little.
Indy, maybe.
Nice-
But
yeah.
Indy's front and back stretch are the same. So
Talladega's bigger than.
that's fair. so I did a little research.
All right.
True or false? This is the first NASCAR points race that accumulates actual points outside the United States.
I would guess, yeah, but I don't know if they ever went to Canada.
Any other guesses? No. It's actually false.
All right.
There's been one other race,
Yeah.
and it's actually a fairly historical race. Was in Canada. Very good. If I can find that. Hold on. The 1958 Jim Midian 500 was run. They ran like a little over
I
100
was mowing
miles.
the grass that day. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it's one of the shortest tracks they raced on. It's less than half a mile, shorter than Martinsville. The report was it was actually almost a carbon copy of how Bowman Gray was.
Okay.
And the winner was Lee Petty.
There you go.
Another historical fact to go along with it was the debut of another fairly famous race car driver. Anybody want to guess who they think who it might have been?
What year?
58.
Was it Richard?
The King's first points race at the high series was not even in the United States,
And it was the only race outside.
and his daddy spun him out in the race. Lee spun him out in the race. But yeah, so he didn't. So Richard didn't finish his first race. His first race was not in the United States, but yeah, 1958 was in Canada. It's the only other. Mexico City will be the second race outside the United States that is on the top circuit.
The longest straightaway is Pocono.
All right.
There you go.
The guys in Vegas actually did a little bit of research. Kyle Larson is not the favorite in Vegas right now. Shane
I was
Van
gonna say SVG might be.
Gisberger is. Yeah, Gisberger is.
I think it's Kyle Busch.
Christopher Bell. All right. Terry's not here,
I had to fill in.
and I want to ask that. Yeah, you're in the seat. It's a requirement sitting in that seat. Okay. And I want y'all. I wish Terry was here. I want y'all's thoughts on this. And Terry, if you're listening, you can call in after the first break. Who won last week at Michigan? Anybody know? Anybody remember?
If you'll give me about 4 seconds, I'll tell you. Because I was actually clicking on that. Christopher Bell. No, Denny Hamlin.
44-year-old Denny Hamlin.
Why was I not remembering that off the top
Can
of my head?
I just
somebody
remember
tell
the wreck
me?
last week. That's all it's
Yeah.
about.
What is the theory? Kyle Busch is supposed to be such a phenomenal race car driver, and he's a champion. He's won before. Why is he now all of a sudden barely fighting to be in the top 10, and that's it?
He does not like
It's
that car.
equipment.
Yep.
You think it's just straight to quit? He's not enjoying driving for RCR.
Where does Jimmy Johnson finish every time he races now?
And he's
Dead last.
He's part time, so
I don't care.
They're not going to give
Like,
him the best
You don't
equipment.
learn. You don't
That's what I'm
forget how to
saying.
drive,
Like-
but I
like,
think it's. I think
Hamlin's with the premier team.
Do you think RCR is just that far behind the rest of the other racing teams?
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
Bush
surprising
is
to me.
stuck in 10th there all the time.
And Kyle's come out multiple times. He despises this car. Like
Well, why'd he sign with him?
money.
Well, then don't complain.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm talking about RCR, but I'm talking about the car in general, like the new gen car. He's not too keen on that.
okay.
I'm not talking about the.
Not necessarily the team,
Yes.
but just the new setup of the car.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. Because that does kind of coincide with when he started, when he stopped.
I think that has a lot of stuff with Jimmy too. He's just not familiar with driving this new car and its quirkiness.
Well, on that one, that is a lot
fair?
on him. Well, he always drove a loose race car,
Mhm.
and these are not.
They're not.
If you get a little bit loose, they spin out. So
I think-
that's not that. That's definitely that too. But again, you're talking about. It aggravated me. Like I said, as soon as like Jimmy wins the 7th championship and he won races that year, and then he won some races the next year, and then all of a sudden, hey, we're not going to win races. There's no more Lowe's sponsorship. As soon as Lowe's is not sponsored, now we're not winning races. Now what happened? Like what deal? And what was going on with Lowe's and that? And obviously there was winning at Lowe's Motor Speedway,
Yeah.
obviously a lot. So everybody, you go down that line. But again, like you said, if Hamlin was in any other, if he wasn't at Hendricks or where he is now, he wouldn't be winning races.
If it's hard to, if it's that difficult to, see, that's the amazing thing. But is Hamlin okay? So, but Hamlin's part owner with Jordan, but he's not driving in Jordan's. He's not driving that equipment. But, okay, that's right. I was about to say. You're telling me the Jordan? Well, and Bubba Wallace is out driving Kyle Busch. You mean to tell me Jordan and the Hamlin, they've got better equipment than RCR, one of the most historical, longest tenured race teams on the circuit, who had one of the top, who basically supported and gave the equipment to one of the top 2 or 3 drivers in the history of the sport? That's a little bizarre to me. But to be fair, if these cars are difficult or they lean more towards being tight, Earnhardt Sr. would have a hard time because he historically loved having a loose car. He wanted to be able to get through the turns very easily. So he might even struggle in this car.
It's hard to believe it's been 16 years since Lowe's ended their sponsorship of the show.
That long, golly.
2009.
They still sponsor Jimmy longer though, didn't they, Kevin? After Lowe's Motor Speedway, they did win him to what, like
a couple years or what?
Yeah, 15
wasn't too
or something
long,
like that.
But like,
and
yeah,
he went
there's a list of
of
the drivers on the teams, and you know, looking at the driver names, just looking at Hendricks, those 4 are bigger than everybody at RCR, but Kyle, Austin Dillon, Austin Hill, and Jesse Love,
and Joe Gibbs races. Obviously, they're doing they're doing good work. They've done good work for a long time.
So that just it's a frustrating sport to where the best like actual drivers sometimes don't win all the races. I do think they do a good job, you know, over the season or had as far as competing and everything. But you know, it's just I don't know. I don't like that either, Chip. 100%. So I don't like how whatever like you're saying is that the guys that you know that can actually drive a car like the Kyle Busches or even Harvick late in his career and stuff and everything. But
is this an official NASCAR website?
Yes, NASCAR.com.
I'm surprised that they're putting Jordans to the 23 XL Racing. I know they're in the race, but I'm surprised they're putting those teams on this website right now, just with everything going on.
They're still a team. They're not
they just got to
chartered.
pay a lot of money. Yeah, they got to pay a lot of money to get in the charter now.
Not chartered, but all right. Yep, in Mexico this weekend, KDC Broadcasting. We've got it here all weekend long.